Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be discussing something that I feel very close to in my heart and something that I've been wanting forever in The Sims 4. I think I first started tweeting about this back in 2017, something crazy like that, and it is a Hobbies Pack for The Sims 4. So back in The Sims 2, we had a pack known as The Sims 2 Free Time, and this actually introduced a lot more than I once originally thought. So if you would like to see me playing through Free Time, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up if you would like to see something like that. I see in the community, and I see from other game changers, and I see from Simmers in general, is that The Sims 4 just lacks life. There's not really enough substance in The Sims 4. There's not a lot of replayability. You kind of buy a pack, you play a pack, and then you're like, now what? So I've been ranting and raving about how I want a Hobbies Pack, be it an expansion, be it a game pack. I personally do think there is enough content to make this an expansion pack. However, on the other hand, I do prefer game packs for The Sims 4. I think they just introduce more. I think they're way more in depth, and I prefer playing with game packs throughout The Sims 4 lifetime. But basically, I want something for my Sims to do rather than just go out and drink alcohol and socialize with their friends and can only play as young adults or adults, because that's really all we're getting content for at the moment, and it's been that way since The Sims 4 came about. So I have literally written out points of things that I would like to see in this pack. I got professional. I did my research. I was trying to link it to things that we already had in the game so that I could see that it might work well if it ever was introduced. I thought hard about all of this. And obviously the first one is some new hobbies. So I used some examples. So my first one is sewing and knitting. So this in my head can be done by teens to elders. It adds something for the elders because really I just wait around and wait for those Sims to die all of the time. So they could knit blankets or knit jumpers that they could gift people on Winterfest if you have seasons in the game. Or they could sew teddy bears. That was a thing that you could do in The Sims 2. And I also thought it would be really cool to kind of take that gameplay and also connect it to create a Sim. So maybe if your Sim learns how to knit or they learn how to sew, then it actually unlocks certain things in Create a Sim, so they can maybe wear a dress that they've sewn. Another hobby I would love to see return is fixer-upper cars. I know we can't drive in The Sims 4. I know that cars aren't a thing in The Sims 4, and these technically don't have to be drivable. Sims 2 did cars very well. I know in the past I've been why would you have cars? What's the point? But since playing Sims 2 recently, I am a convert. I would quite like to see cars make a return in The Sims 4. The fixer-upper I miss the most though. I used to use this on rebellious teenagers. I would have their parents go out and buy a fixer-upper car for them to kind of take their mind onto something else, make them focus, make them learn a little bit of responsibility, adds a great story element in my personal opinion. One thing that I hate about The Sims 4 is that Sims can't play guitars. I'm fairly sure they can play piano and keyboards, and I'm fairly sure they can play, I know they can play violin because there is a kid's violin, but they cannot play guitars, and it really annoys me because do you know how many kids beg and beg their parents for a guitar at Christmas? It blows my mind that that isn't a thing, and I would have had so many of my Sims kids grow up playing guitar if that were an option. So please, Sims team, can we get a guitar added for children? I would love to see kids be able to perform magic tricks. If you have kids room stuff, you actually have a puppet show. So they could literally just reskin that object, which I know some of you might be like, no, Molly, don't give them the idea to reskin things. The Sims team can't just do that and then call it a new object. But It works in the case of a magic show. Now that we have Realm of Magic, they could be like, I heard that there are spellcasters. Like, I want to be a spellcaster. And they learn how to like take a rabbit out of a hat, or they do like a little card trick. And for kids, I would also love to see an updated gardening skill. Kids cannot garden in The Sims 4 and it's really disappointing. I really wish that kids were able to do some gardening in The Sims 4, help their parents out, maybe learn a little bit about the garden and herbs and fruit and vegetables. You know, if we're pushing a healthy lifestyle, why can't kids garden in The Sims 4? I know it probably has to do with like skeletal structures and then like bending down and getting to the levels, but it's annoying that they can't do it. If you guys have The Sims 4 Get Famous and you also have The Sims 4 Seasons, those were the 2 packs that after school activities were actually introduced with. So we got the drama after school activity and we got the scouting. Scouting is fully playable. You can do all of the tasks and that's how you level up. Whereas drama, you just send them off to a class and you can also like learn lines, which is kind of like their homework. I think a hobbies pack would be the perfect pack to introduce a few more. You could have like sporting ones, you could have like a robotics one, you could have art classes. There are so many different classes that like kids are all for. Dance classes, I really miss like having ballet, and you could also do like jazz, hip hop, or ballet. You could have like a choice. I really just want more after school activities because I think they mold and they shape your children, and you can really like tell a Sim's personality from what they're interested in. And not only would I like to see more after school classes for kids, but I would love to see just classes in general for Sims of all ages, from teenagers to elders. They could go to a pottery class, and I would love it if these were actually like playable. Like say if you could go to a pottery class, you can attend it, and it kind of works a bit like the yoga classes that came in Spa Day. I think it would be really cool if you had someone like teaching you how to make a bowl, and then you could again gift these handmade craftable objects to like other Sims if you wanted to. You could, if you had Get to Work, you could sell them in a shop. I think it would just like expand gameplay so much, and that's what an expansion pack is meant to do. It's meant to expand gameplay. Man, I am a genius. I also think like a little bingo hall would be cute. Some of you might say you're not technically allowed bingo because of the whole gambling rules in video games, but we do have the lottery in The Sims 4 Seasons, which is kind of gambling. I mean, you put your money in and then you might win. I would also love to see more sporting events. I don't even care if these are just like a rabbit hole. You guys might have a differing opinion. You might not want them to be a rabbit hole, but I don't think there's any other way for the Sims team to do that. So we got volunteering in parenthood, and like say if your kid is on a football team, say if we get a football after school activity, and I mean soccer for all you Americans out there. Say if your kid joined soccer and then every Sunday morning they had like a little Sunday fun day league in soccer, your parents could just go off and watch them play a game, and then you could just get a little notification 2 hours later saying so-and-so won their game today. Maybe take them out for a meal to celebrate or something like that. But then there are 2 really big systems that I would love to be introduced, and these are kind of like imaginations. I would love to see an interest system. So basically what I wrote for this point, and I'm going to read it off like a little professor: a system that lends itself from the holidays and included traditions, but creating an interest and choosing specific hobbies and skills that can be done in game to work on this interest. In brackets, an example would be mechanics, fixing up a car, upgrading items, working on the spaceship. So they would all fall under this like mechanics interest, and they could also be randomly assigned based upon the activities that your Sims do. How amazing would that be? It would kind of add like an element of surprise, which I know so many people think is missing from The Sims 4. You wouldn't have to come up with the story, but if these were randomly applied based off what your Sims do, so say if you had like a teenage Sim who is constantly like using their laptop or constantly gaming online, they could have gaming as an interest, and it would be randomly applied based on how frequently they do those activities. I want this system so bad. It definitely reminds me of The Sims 2 Free Time and the Hobbies system that was introduced. And Linslu92 on Twitter, I will leave their link in the description, came up with this amazing concept art that I had never seen, but apparently it's been around for like over a year now. Basically, what it is, I'm going to talk you guys through it. I think it's actually under the skills tab, but you have your skill and it says like painting, and then it has like oil painting, and you can see that this sim has like a neutral interest within oil painting. Scrapbooking, again, it's quite neutral. Woodworking, they have a level 4 in it, but they don't have much of an interest in it. And then sewing, they have a level 6 in it, and they have a very strong interest in sewing. I absolutely adore this idea. I think it would just add so much personality, and you'd be able to tell such amazing, like, full stories if this was ever introduced into The Sims 4. Linslu literally like summed up everything I've been asking for the last like 3 years in this one post. So that's kind of how I imagine it in game, and then they can be like randomly assigned based on what your Sims are doing and the activities that they're taking part in. It would just add so much to the game. I feel like I'm just bigging myself up. I should be a sim guru and I know what's best. That's how I feel right now. But I'm just very passionate about what I want to see in my game. And then the next system that I was talking about is an elder mentoring system, which I honestly thought we were going to get this in Parenthood. So basically what I thought, and my thought process through this, was elders can use their life knowledge to help younger Sims with their skill building. For example, teaching kids to bake or play chess, tell them stories from their past to focus on a specific skill, or more personal life teaching moments. For example, like the pop-ups that you get from Parenthood, you could have them going like, oh grandma, like I need help with this, like you clearly have the life experience. And then there was also some like miscellaneous buy mode objects that just like entered my brain as I was writing all of this down. And it was soccer nets, rocking chairs, a pull-up bar for the athletic skill. I feel like every single athletic item that we currently have in The Sims 4 is massive. I really miss like the 2-tile like push-up bar, pull-up bar that you could have in The Sims 3, and you could kind of hang it like over a doorway because everyone has them. Like when you don't have any room, you buy either one of those or like a cycling machine, and you're good to go. Lemonade stand. I really miss having a lemonade stand. And also a treehouse, or like a buildable treehouse that your parents can create for their Sims, for their kids if they want to. I just think that's really, really sweet. I would also love to see the return of bands, and this might not be the perfect pack for it. You guys might want like a dedicated game pack for bands, but I do feel as if bands are quite a good hobby, especially for like teenagers, and maybe there can be a new career out of that. And speaking of new careers, there are definitely a few that I had up my little sleeve for this new pack. I'm talking like this is gonna come true. I'm like, yes, this new pack coming 2020, made by yours truly, the English guru, sim guru. I actually know what if I ever became a sim guru, I know what my guru name would be. For the new careers, I would love to see a dancer career. I would love to see singer, architect, sculpture, animation, carpenter, inventor. Basically hobbies that can turn into careers and can start earning you money. And like I said, also if you're like a sculptor, you could just have a shop if you get to work. I think that's what The Sims 4 is missing. When we get a new pack, like we get a couple of things that are like cross-pack compatible, but I really feel as if we're missing something big that melds them all together really nicely. And I just think a Hobbies pack is perfect for doing that. Like we already have objects in The Sims 4 that would fit in nicely with this pack, but I think they just need like a little bit more focus, a little bit like more updates on them. Like we have a woodworking table and we literally haven't received any other items for that woodworking table, and I don't know if it's possible, but that's why I'm talking about it. Like it might be possible if the Sims team can do it, but imagine if you could create like a dog bowl on that. Like I feel as if they miss opportunities all the time in The Sims 4, and it might be because obviously they're working on much bigger features and things like that are quite small in comparison, and a lot of people would say, well, we don't want all of these small things, like we'd just rather the big updates. But I do feel as if some of those small updates could hold a lot of life. Also, we need a small telescope. I talked about this in my all woohoo video when we did the woohoo in the telescope. I am shocked and appalled that we don't have a small telescope as of yet. I would love to see more arcade games. And like I said, there are already a couple of hobbies for kids, but I really would love to see. So if your sim likes dressing up, then maybe in a later stage of their life, that will show as a drama interest. And then they can join drama club, and then they can go into acting, and just like sculpting your kids and like molding who they are from a young age, I think would be really, really cool. Say if they're into puppet shows, then maybe they have an interest in comedy and they want to like get up to mischief and they want to tell jokes, and then they might become an entertainer later down the line. There's just some little things that I think need tweaking and definitely need focusing on. So let me know, what do you guys think about this idea? Do you think it's a good idea for an expansion pack? Is there anything else you would like to see in an expansion like this? Don't get me wrong, that's a lot. That's expecting a lot, and it's not just a lot of new stuff, it's a lot of rework, which takes even longer for the Sims team, I am sure. Also, let me know how you feel about me playing The Sims 2 free time. I would definitely be up for that. I would very, very much love to play Sims 2 free time. I don't know if it's going to be a mini series, might just do it as like a one-off, who knows? But if you would like to see that, then let me know. Give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you aren't already. I like to make videos like this every so often where I discuss packs that I would love to see, and also I discuss previous packs that we have received for The Sims 4. So if you like this type of content, definitely hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will speak to you all in my next video. Bye guys!